Good afternoon, world. It is moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. It is July 15th, and this is episode number 76 of Grit and Good News. And I am your co-host, Jeff Lynch. Capably manning the board is our man, Scott Brooks.
Sammy Brooks.
I've
You
been
do
doing
that every week.
I've been doing it lately. Yes,
That's
I have
all right.
been.
That's all right.
And we're broadcasting live from our palatial studios in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse. And you got all the introductions besides our man, Scott Brooks.
Thank you, brother. Birthday boy.
Thank you.
We're going to hear about that in just a minute, but thank you for being here. As we say every Tuesday and Thursday, we are here every Tuesday and Thursday from noon until 1 o'clock Texas time, which for those of you in one of the inferior states in the country, because Texas rules supreme, it is Central Time. So right now it is noon. But thank you for being here. Jeff and I and Sammy love doing this show. We got a lot to share with you. And of course, as usual, it's straight from our hearts and our minds, and nothing, what you see is what you get, which we hope is fun and good and happy and all that sort of thing. So just we do our little brief updates on some things. We're going to start with Jeff and his big birthday bash out at the lake over the weekend. So tell us all about it.
We had us a cotton picking shindig, throwing it down, baby. Big 7-0. My three kids and my wife jointly organized it. We had good food from a barbecue joint. I kept hearing about this big surprise, and everybody was tight-lipped. I had no idea what was a surprise, who was showing up, what was going down, what was happening. I didn't know. And after we finished dinner, and I think we had a good trivia contest and obscure facts about Jeffrey Lynch, and then my daughter Marianne comes from the back room. She strides out with this
Homes
for Pop, and they had gone behind my back, and they had solicited. Everybody knows that I love poetry, and 22 people wrote a poem about me, of which 11 were in attendance, and we did have one ghost written by of our dog. I did find out this morning who wrote that about the dog. I'll just read you this one now.
About the dog or by the dog?
No, but Layla.
Yeah,
of Layla to me.
Oh,
and it is a short one.
Yeah.
It's almost a haiku. I don't know. He takes me on my walks. He's 49 in dog years. And he picks up my poo.
Yeah, that's my kind of poem right there.
And then we had one buddy, Tom Schneider, dear friend of mine from Kerr County days, and he decided to write a song. And I don't know that he's written many songs. He brought a guitar, and he did some strumming along, and he had it with a refrain verse for everybody to say aloud. And so I guess Sam's gonna play it. He's gonna put it.
You
up
gonna play
there.
it, Sam? You gonna play it now and then? Yeah, okay. It's our buddy Jeff from, is it Edina or Edina?
Edina.
Edina. You got it, Sammy? So and then everybody chipped in and
Yeah, with the then our buddy Jeff from Edina. He starts in this big world. There's no one finer than our buddy from Jeff from Edina, and everything is in A. And then
you
Edina.
gotta have to go with that.
You
Yeah.
got it
All right, let's
now?
hear it, Sam. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
But you got to put a lot of passion into it at Edina. When you do Edina, you got to do a lot of passion. Our buddy Jeff from
Edina. Oh yeah.
In this big world, there's no one fine. Our buddy Jeff from
Edina.
Try on these gloves, they fit a fine.
Our buddy Jeff from Edina.
Back in his younger days, hockey was the game he played. Better not get in his way. Check into the boards and make you pay. Buddy, where am I? In this world, there's no one fine.
Then our buddy Jeff from Edina.
He needs a beer, give him a shine.
Our buddy Jeff from Edina.
Was trip to Pinehurst, Carolina.
With our man Jeff from Edina.
And now just become a poet. Printed and published, who would know it? Knows all the words and he can show it. Our buddy just become a poet. In this whole world there's no one fine.
Buddy Jeff from Edina.
He knows all the pickup lines.
Buddy Jeff from Edina.
Happy birthday, Jeff. Here's a jersey made in China.
They didn't do the last line. He met a girl from Rita
There's
Rhina.
one line left.
Edina.
He met a girl named Rita Rhina.
Buddy Jeff from Edina.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, I don't know.
Who was the one closest to the mic?
That was my daughter Marianne, the one
Was.
that put that on.
Yeah.
'Cause she was up there on the stairway looking down on the room.
Where does she live?
She lives in Austin.
Oh, is she a Minnesota girl? I thought I heard a little bit of tinge of that dialect accent.
No, she was born in Texas. She was raised in Tarrant County, and
Yeah.
she went up to school her freshman year to my college, St. Mary's in Winona for 1 year.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Yeah, she does sound a little Yankee.
Yeah. Cool. That's very cool. I'm glad you had a great time.
Yeah.
Sammy, it doesn't say, what do you think? Is it supposed to up there? Well, you don't have to. I just don't want to be sure we don't have somebody blocked out. All right. So there you have it on my pal's birthday. Cooper Flagg. To Sammy's dismay, 'cause he's been driving me nuts about watching Cooper Flagg play in the NBA Summer League, which is where all the draft picks and those who are kind of on the end of the bench go and play for the summer. These teams, particularly with the high picks like Cooper Flagg, #1 pick, will watch them come out in play in the first few games, and if they are struggling, they'll just let them play until they're not struggling. If they come out and they show what they are made of and why the team picked them, then they'll shut them down. They did it to Wembanyama last year, right?
Yep.
And so this year, after 2 games, they shut Cooper down. Cooper was 5 for 21 in his first game.
10 points, not
Yeah.
very good first game. Even he said it on the interview after. He was like, "I'll bounce back," and sure enough, next game
31.
drops 31. Still struggled from deep. I think he was 3 for 9, but I mean, watching a player like him, he caught the ball at the top of the key, took a
Mhm.
dribble, and just pulled up for 3 and just switched it.
Yeah, you got to be strong to shoot a jump from NBA 3.
Yep.
You really do.
You see that?
Yeah.
Comment.
Cooper, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, we got Cooper Flagg now shut down. So the rest of the not wannabes, but the iffies are playing for the Mavericks in their summer league, and they play that summer league in Las Vegas. And
Utah,
I-
right? They do it in
Oh.
Utah too, and
Oh,
then
do
it
they?
switches to Vegas.
oh well, they just play throughout the day. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a basketball camp.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got the big beautiful bill that passed last Friday. No, it passed actually. Yeah, was it last? No, the 4th. On the 4th. We've had a couple shows since then, but it closed or signed or passed or whatever, became official on July the 4th, which is what Trump had said for many months now is when he wanted to do that. So they
And
planned
we
that
had
properly.
Substack poems that morning about that.
Yes, we did. We had
Yeah.
we had columns and a poem about the big beautiful bill. I think the big, if I'm as a voter, I'm for it, but I did have some issues with it. But those
Mhm.
issues were really embedded in the government having more say over things like social media and so forth. And I hate social media, but I hate more the government having anything to do with it. Then we have just an update on the Hannah Dillard case. We are due this week to receive all of the open information requests that we have sent out to the district attorney's office. Unfortunately, and certainly with our condolences, the Linda Beatty, the district attorney of Ellis County, her daughter passed away last Friday, so she obviously tending to family things. So our prayers go out to you, Lindy, and your family. The information that we're waiting for should be in this week. So it's a trove of data about Hannah's case and going back to 2017. So that's a long time. And these entities have a certain number of days to get that to us. In this case, it was 10 days. So I think we're probably on that 10 business days. So we're probably, without knowing or remembering what day we asked for it, I think we're about there. Let's see. The Open It used to be called the British Open.
No.
It did at one time.
No. That's the confusion that the media has put out to you. Because the deal is,
That dadgum media.
what came first, the British Open or the U.S. Open?
I believe the British Open.
By far. And so when they had their Open Championship, they called it the Open. Okay. And when the United States started to have their Open Championship, they logically called it the U.S. Open. And then the media over all these years, once we called ours the U.S. Open, they started calling the British Open. They started calling the Open the British Open. But the Brits are very firm and stout about the fact that
Yeah,
it's
they
the
don't.
Open and it ain't no cotton picking
The Brits,
British Open. We are the Open.
the
And
Brits don't mess around. But you know what? There's
you know that, or am I telling you something you didn't
no
know?
one. I did think at one point it was called the British Open in my
And
adult life.
yeah,
But for the past 15 years, it's called the Open. Matter of fact, all the apparel and hats and all that are the Open.
right,
But you got the Scottish Open,
right,
which just was last week.
yeah,
Canadian Open.
right.
I'm sure there are other opens around the world,
Well,
but
and they just had the U.S.
yeah,
Right.
the U.S. Open, but the
So
British
they're all
Open,
clumped there together, but there's only one
the Brits
Open.
ain't. You ain't. We are the
We
Open,
are
kind of
the
like
Open.
the Tide, right? All right, so we got that. Starts on Thursday. So if you wonder where I am, I'll be in my office, with it on in the background. Wink, wink. And then tonight, Major League All-Star game. It's the only All-Star game that I like. Well, football doesn't have one anymore. So I don't like NBA. I don't like hockey. I like the baseball because it is a real game. I mean, you don't see a pitcher go out there and throw a 60 mile an hour lob or goof around. Or where these players are trying to win the game. It's where they can increase their contract,
Yeah.
whereas the other games are all performance, kind of a scripted show, if you will. This one is real. And this kid, Cal Raleigh, the catcher for the Seattle Mariners, who won the home run contest last night, is a stud. He's got, Cal Raleigh, catcher of the Mariners,
Right.
who last night won the home run derby, has 38 home runs at the break. Right now, 38 home runs. He's 23. Well, I don't know what did Judd hit. Judge hit Judge got 63.
66, I think.
I don't know, something in the above 61. I know that a couple of years ago. And then of course Barry Bonds has the record that's tainted by the accusations of him cheating. So this guy, this humble, seemingly cool kid, his dad was throwing the pitches last night, and his brother was catching.
Nice.
Isn't that
Oh,
cool?
I love that.
And so that was a lot of fun to watch. So it'll be fun to see what he does in this game.
Yeah, and the All-Star game used to be the halfway mark in the season, but now we're a little bit more than halfway
We are.
through.
It used to be the very beginning of July. It was closer to the 4th of July, usually, which is the halfway mark, I think. And
But it is, yeah, and at one time, uh, it has been on my birthdays many days.
yeah,
Like in this case, it was on,
on the
Tuesday,
14th. Well, yeah,
14th,
15th.
15th,
Yeah,
and mine's the 12th. So
yeah. So tomorrow, I told Sonia last night, I said, tomorrow, Wednesday, July the 15th for 2025 is the worst sports day ever.
Wait,
Every
when
year.
is it?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Every year.
dang.
But,
I was dreading that day.
well, but you know what? I told Sonia, I said, I hadn't watched any, other than golf on the weekends or something, I haven't watched any sports. There hadn't been any I wanted to watch. The
What?
Rangers frustrate me.
Tomorrow we got Big Brother, so me and Kennedy are set.
Sammy.
What did you ask me, Jeffrey?
what year was the All-Star game the first time?
In Texas?
Yeah.
1968, and it was held
No,
at
no, okay. At the new stadium. What I was gonna say
Oh,
is you know who? It was in about the mid '90s. You know who did the anthem the first time that they had the All-Star game? They had the All-Star game when that park first opened up.
Arlington Park. Or are you talking about the new stadium?
Well, the first, the brick one,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
the second stadium,
Yeah.
second
Okay.
stadium,
Yeah.
the brick one. You know who did the national anthem?
Oh,
I'll give you a clue. It
no,
it
no.
wasn't sung, it was performed.
Was it our African American dude with the?
No,
Oh,
no.
I don't know.
Van Cliburn on the
Oh,
88s, and
wow.
he killed it.
Nice. Nice. Well,
And I went to that game, and I went with my son and a couple knucklehead buddies on about the hottest day of my whole life
yeah,
to the home run derby,
yeah,
and we were just in the sun all day.
miserable. Yeah.
And then we came in afterwards, and these boys were dying to go to Hooters for wings, and so I took them, and they got in a spitball fight with the waitresses. The
Nice.
waitresses really started it, and boy,
Nice.
they were
Yeah.
all over that.
I can only imagine. So tonight is the All-Star game, would be a lot of fun, and we'll see how it goes. So there you go. That's the update. I don't think we missed anything. So let's talk about Waxahachie. For those of you
How about our
watching,
76?
oh yeah,
Oh,
this is
we'll make
yeah.
it fast.
Okay,
76. In the NFL, Steve Hutchinson, offensive guard.
never heard of it.
Um, in the National Hockey League, the great PK Subban, who is just terrific on the commentating between the periods,
And those clothes he wears.
and the great clothes that he wears. And now he can go wild and he can go classy.
Yeah.
He started out with Montreal, and he was rookie of the year for the league, and then the Predators,
Yep.
and then New Jersey, and he was a three-time All-Star, and he won in 2013 the Norris, which is for the best D in the whole league,
Yeah.
early in his career. And in 22, at the end of his career, he won the King Clancy Award, which you probably don't know it, but every sport has one similar. It's for leadership
Sportsmanship.
and humanitarian work.
You know, I like
He
him. He
doesn't seem
seems
like
like
the
a
guy.
cool guy.
Yeah, he's a
He seems
great.
like a cool guy. I know.
Yeah.
You know, he dated Lynn. What's that skier's?
Lindsey Vaughn
Yeah, he dated her
after
after
Tiger.
Tiger. Yeah, and Tiger, I think, is getting close to getting married. You know who he's going to marry? Yeah, Trump's Donald Jr.'s ex-wife.
Alan Jr.
Isn't that funny? All right, so for those of you watching that don't live in Waxahachie, indulge us for just a minute here. We've had our city is about a 50,000 population city. I bet I could be convinced that it's a little more than that. But when I moved here 12 whatever years ago, it was 30,000. So we have grown rapidly. We're one of the 20th, bless you, 20th fastest growing states in America, and we're just 30 miles south of Dallas, uh, Texas, right downtown Dallas. So it's a great place to live. We can be at big time sports, big time concerts, big time events in a moment's notice, and we can take in all the charm and the comfort of a small town, relatively speaking. So our council, who I've had my, love hate affair with now for a while.
This version, which we get different
Yeah,
versions
we do
because
every
of the
year.
turnover. Yeah.
Potentially it's a different council every year because of the elections every year, and a different mayor every year if it happened that way, which I think is a problem. But anyway, our longtime city manager Michael Scott was, as we have reported, forced out by council. Council is specifically the mayor saying that he would resign. I take great issue with that, and I'm also offended by her saying that because that's not true. And I know that straight from the horse's mouth. It's not true. So I explore this whole thing tomorrow. We have a news story on page 1 above the fold, lead story. And then on page 5, it is my column this week that's going to run there. And I have plenty to say about
Nick
it.
the Goat isn't going to write that
Nick the
column.
Goat's taking a break for
Yeah.
this week and maybe next week too. So I've been writing my head off for both Grit and Good News and for the Sun. This is an important issue, and I like a lot of people that we've heard from, don't like the way this all came down, and I do believe that it has been in the works. I was lied to by one council member who I interviewed in this very room that said he would not be who had made comments in the past before he ran that he didn't like Michael Scott and that he was going to move to get rid of him at some point. I confronted him with that. He said that would not happen. He'd give him his fair shake. Maybe he did give a fair shake. I have to be honest here. He's been a council member for a little over a year, so I don't know how much of a fair shake that would be. But nonetheless, he's the one that made the motion to end the relationship, the employment relationship with Michael Scott. So I've got all
He
kinds
was the one on the council that made the
that
move.
made the motion. Yeah. And so, you
Right.
know, you know, when people are trying to be too slick for their own good, they overlook the obvious signs that they are lying. And an example of that is that if Michael Scott or anybody in a similar position resign and just like if you or I resign from a company, w- we don't need an approval. Nobody has to approve that we're going to resign. Now, even in a
Right.
situation where a council gets a resignation from the city manager resigns and moves on. They don't hold a vote that I'm aware of. They don't hold a vote and vote, you know, in this case, 5-0 or 3-2 or 2-3, whatever, to accept the resignation. What if the vote were not to accept the resignation? What's he going to do? Oh, okay, because you guys voted that I can't resign, I'm not going to resign. I mean, it's just stupid on its face. So when they get to this, so you got on one hand, you got the mayor saying that Michael Scott resigned, and she was in the other newspaper in town was reported as saying that. Uh, I don't believe that for a second. Matter of fact, I know it's not true. And all you got to do is look at signs the common sense signs. When the motion was made in open council the other night, uh, the motion was not I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Michael Scott. I just told you that would be silly, right?
Right.
So the motion was to separate. They're being too good for their own good with their words, but separate employment with Michael Scott. All right. So that was the motion. So somebody with a brighter brain than mine would have to tell me, how does that equate to a resignation? It's not a resignation. So and I've worked with Michael Scott for a long time, obviously as a newspaper person and a media person. We have our information in a number of different ways we get that information. I know that they have been maneuvering to get rid of Michael. I know that there have been issues when a council person repeatedly tells the city manager, keep your resume fresh. You don't have to know much more than there is a incognito, if you will, effort being made to do something about that Michael Scott. Now, three of them, they're not supposed to have meetings outside in a quorum. So a quorum on a council of five, it's three. So no majority of council can have a meeting amongst themselves without it being
But can two people?
publicized. Two people can.
So you can have a two and a two and a two. You can have a three-way meeting. Three people can have a meeting by having three
Yeah, yeah.
meetings.
You
You
can
can.
talk offline, so to speak, but you can't sit around. If three of you want to get rid of the city manager, you can't sit around together and talk about that. That's against the law. You have to announce that it's open. It has to be an open meeting,
Right.
an open forum, and the public has to be aware of it. 72 hours. So,
Well,
but
it's three separates is
yeah.
how that happened.
So the motion was to separate the employment of Michael
But
Scott. So therein you have it. And last night, they had a meeting. I think it was last night. Yes, they did. At the end of that meeting, council folks spoke, and I take issue with the vote being 5-0 because I don't believe the vote's 5-0. I believe the vote's 3-2. But for reasons that I'm beginning to understand a little bit better, and I have a meeting with a council member today after our show, uh, that the two that supported Michael Scott, Patrick Suter and Chris Wright, uh, either caved so as to appear as the mayor wanted, appeared to be unified,
right.
or they didn't understand completely what they were voting for. So I'm going to get some clarity on that. But the point I'm making is this was not a 3-2 vote. I mean, a 5-0 vote. It was a 3-2 vote. It's just that the two folks who I happen to like a lot, disappointed me and others by not standing up or saying, no, we're not going to vote to end the
Hmm.
relationship with Michael Scott. That lends some credibility to examining whether or not they knew exactly what they were voting for, because it's been clunky, it's been unrefined, it's been odd, all this stuff. And it just goes to show you, when you don't have quality leadership on council, that you end up with a mess. And so
And what's the story severance wise?
Well, severance wise, is he's going to get a severance. I remember when Paul Stevens, the previous city manager, was fired in 2016, I believe it was. I mean, council was full overflowing. If you've been in there,
Mhm.
it was people brought. I remember people bring in empty popcorn buckets, and or maybe they had popcorn in them. I can't remember, but they implying that it was going to be a show, and it was ugly. David Hill, who was on council at the time, was out of the country, so it was a four-person vote. And in that case, I liked Paul Stevens, but I didn't think Paul Stevens uh, was as good as Michael. But that was a vote to get rid of Paul Stevens, and he ended up with. I mean, we saw the information, and I believe, including salary, benefits, the longevity of the severance, and all that thing, it was somewhere around 320 grand. Michael's will be more. Michael makes more than Paul did because of COLA increases and such. So it's not a cheap departure, not at
Right.
all. And so we're going to examine it a little bit more, but tomorrow's Sun will be on page 1 and on page 5 will allude to this. And it's going to probably be a little bit ugly.
Did you want to talk a little bit about the second half of our topic there, just about nasty politics in general? Because we could
Yeah.
lose everybody that's not from Waxahachie if we keep talking about this much longer.
Yeah. So nasty politics, we've seen it. We're seeing it everywhere. I mean, now we've got ICE agents just right down the road in Alvarado, as we talked about last week, that were under fire, gunfire. One of the morons that did it lives in Waxahachie, from Waxahachie. Um, by the way, he lives over there behind the academy. I'm not going to dox him, but so he's just a run of the mill kind of average, seemingly average guy who's out to shoot and kill ICE agents. We've got all kinds of that. I mean, we got politicians in DC saying things that, oh my, I mean, we talked about dark politics, right? We talked about the
That's where I was going with that.
language,
Yeah.
the abusive language, the F bombs. I mean, it's anymore. I mean, before in our day, you would never, despite how vehemently opposed they would be to each other, you would never hear a senator or a congressperson or a speaker use a swear word. They might have used damn here and there, but not a swear word like the F bomb or
Right.
SHI, any of those words. They didn't use that in the halls of Congress. They didn't use that in the Capitol, but now we hear it all the time. We got moron, what a Crockett calling the president of the United States mofo. I mean, that's how bad it's got. So fast forward to the horrible events of July the 4th in Kerrville or Kerr County, where there are still 100. The last number I heard was 170 something
I
still missing.
this morning's paper had it down to 90.
Did it? Well,
Yeah.
good. That's good. So, but lots are missing, and we're 2 weeks. We're going on 2 weeks out. So this is the worst time for nasty politics. I
Yeah.
mean, you can say what you want about Trump, and people do, but whenever any one of us, uh, ad- in context, says that makes fun of, demeans, belittles, uses someone's terrible death as a means by which you criticize other politicians, whatever. It's just awful. So I want to show you. I used to work for the Buffalo News in the '90s, almost all the '90s, and frankly, I knew then, just like I do now, although it's a much, much, much smaller paper. Back then, it was one of the top 20 papers in America, and we home delivered 315,000 papers on a weekend, on a Sunday, and 290,000 on a weekday. I loved that paper. I did, even though it was liberal. I loved that paper, even though it was in a very cold city. I loved that paper, and I love that city. Um, some of my dearest friends are from that place. I love Buffalo, uh, and so with papers like that, you have a cartoonist in most papers. I'm thought about us having a
Yeah.
cartoonist or a cartoon. But anyway, Adam Ziglis is his name, and Sammy's going to show you the cartoon that he ran after the floods in Kerr County, and there you have it. So if you're looking at your screen, so what that what that cartoon is saying is, the guy's got on a MAGA hat, he's drowning, he's got a sign he's holding up above his head, says help. Behind him is a sign, no, it's a bubble word bubble that
Yeah.
says, essentially it's saying, I'm gonna say it as though this is how it would be said. Oh, remember, government's not the problem. What does it say? Saying government is the solution. Problem, not the solution. Yeah. So the word thought is, as the guy is drowning, is that somebody's saying, well, you're gonna go ahead and drown. I thought government was your not the solution here. Now you're asking for the government to help you as you're drowning. That's what this dude did with a cartoon. So, although Buffalo is more conservative than it is, I mean, more liberal than it is conservative, this man was to be going to an event uh, last Friday evening to be recognized for his work because he is a Pulitzer Prize winning cartoonist. And in many respects, he does a great job, but this was over the top. They canceled the event because of, and I'm not condoning this, but because of uh, death threats and the mean, nasty politics we're talking about. So, um, that kind of nasty is where we've landed here. And I don't necessarily mind nasty in the sense that it's just hard hitting and calling it the way you see it. Tomorrow I'm running a column that is not going to sit well with some members of council. And but I'm not attempting to be nasty in any sense. It's not meant to be petty or immature or being what I'm referring to them as being. It's simply meant to say, this is the way I see what's going on, and this is the way I'm going to write about it. So there's a difference between the nastiness and just being hard hitting and stern and direct and to the point. What we're seeing out of people like Adam Ziglas and others throughout the country is this. I mean, we saw about the pediatrician who basically said, if you're MAGA, you deserve to die in the floods. She was she was dumped, fired immediately. We had another lady that was on a board in Houston that said basically the same thing. She was kicked off. We've had the ones you and I have talked about that said, if you voted for Trump, this is what, and you drowned, you asked for it, essentially.
And then the one from the knucklehead in Houston who said, "Gosh, all this help is going that way. It's only because they were all white people."
Yeah,
But
there's another, the race part of it. It's just sick. Yeah, that's one of the, I don't know if it was the pediatrician or the other board member who said Camp Mystic is all about nothing but about white little girls, white people, white privilege, all
well,
this other stuff.
and the other thing was when this thing broke, Camp Mystic was the big part of the news. But guess what? You get into those big numbers of missing and dead, and unaccounted for, and it wasn't just Camp Mystic,
Yeah.
man.
No, you're right.
When you're finding people 25
Well, I had that
miles,
RV park.
yeah,
That those people didn't have much to do with Camp Mystic, and Chuck says a lot starts with our local. It does, and I agree. Obviously, I will say this to whether you're in Waxahachie or not, whatever city you're in. Let's say you're not in a metro market, where metro markets tend to have more nefarious, violent, nastiness that goes on there. People can come and protest in Waxahachie, but that's not going to get the impact that a protesting in Dallas or Fort Worth would get. But I
right.
make this argument that as I've written about, that we have for whatever reason, and I think it partly God's grace on a city like Waxahachie has been fortunate to not have those kinds of things happen here. But there have been signs in the recent past, where I'm not so sure it's just hovering just below surface. We had a kid that lives here that was trying to kill ICE agents. We've had, we know there is human smuggling uh, group that's in Moxahatchee. We know drugs are here and that there are drug runners and drug dealing and all sorts of things. It's just we need to pay attention to what's going on, regardless of what city you live in. It could be
Yeah.
Edina, it could be Waxahachie, but people need to understand that we are not immune to the sorts of things going on out there. So shame on Adam Ziglis of the Buffalo News. Shame on those who want to use a horrible once in a lifetime event. What are they calling it now? Once in 100-year flood, or any event that results in death. Uh, as a tool to bang somebody else over the head. Shame on you, and it's pathetic.
Amen.
With it? All right, got it?
Got it.
All right, random thoughts, Jeffrey. Let's hear it.
Please don't give me more burdens than I can handle. It's all I can do to handle the ones I can handle. I pulled this one recently. Don't ask for permission. Ask for forgiveness.
Many times. Many, many times.
I thought of this after I had this wonderful birthday. 70 is a pretty big number.
It is a big number.
And to me, that's kind of always when I thought people get old. But I will tell you this: I
Hey.
may never grow up, and that is
Wait.
you can take that may out of that.
Oh,
I
age, truly, for you and for all of us.
Yeah.
But you embrace it.
Yeah, I do.
But age is but a number.
That's right. I may never grow up, but 70 sounds kind of grown up.
Yeah, it does.
It does sound kind of grown
Yeah.
up. I'm
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
wow. I've grown up a little bit.
Yes, for sure.
This is by the great Mae West. I was strumming through something, and I thought it might apply to me at my age. It's not. It's not the men in my life that count. It's the life in my men.
Very good.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think that's 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save this juicy one for
the end.
next week.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So let me.
Because it'll always
I do
apply.
want to say something about the age. One of the reasons Jeff and I do this. I'm 64. Just turned 64 about a month ago. The average, not to be morbid here, but the average lifespan of men in America. Should I even say that? Well, you face it. It's 76 years old. And women is a little bit higher, but it's uh, the average. Just suffice it to say, the average is in the upper 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at some point, people like you and I, we don't have any choice but to face our mortality, right?
Right.
But as I said, I think on the show, I want to like the guy that's hit the potential in the park home run. That's the way I want to finish life.
Yeah.
Now I will. My wife is a superstar. All right, you said something about burdens there. About don't give me more than I already have to handle. My wife is carrying some burdens that are pleasant and some burdens that aren't. Burdens. It's a blessing, and our daughter getting married. One of our daughters getting married is a blessing.
Right.
The curse part of it is that it requires so much work for
Right.
her, for Sonia,
Right.
my wife. So Sonia has a number of things on her plate, and I can tell in a split second, like you could with Rita, that she's carrying those burdens. So my
Yeah.
job is to lighten them. But I'll say this: the older we get, the more we want to. At least I do feel tired. And I saw on TikTok. I mean, maybe we'll show it next week that there is this not a syndrome, but there's this truth about people as they get older that if they get in a pattern of being sedentary and laying around watching TV and that sort of thing, that it's very hard to break out of that. And I although I feel like I work really, really hard when I'm engaged with all the things that I'm responsible for, which is a lot of the time. But my off times are spent with my wife and our pets
Right.
and not doing much. But we enjoy
Right.
that. It's a
Right.
safe place. But at 64 and at 70, we got to face our mortality. So I say I look at it like this. If we're the guy that we hit the ball, it hit in the center field, right center, it hit in that crevice
In the gap.
yeah, and it rolls, it bounces weird. All right. And so I think we're about to third base is what I think our ages are. We're about to third base. Sammy is just about to touch first base. So
And are we gonna follow the third base coach signal, or are we just gonna run on our own?
let me tell you something.
I know what you're
We're
gonna
going straight to home.
straight to home.
All right. So but I say we're just a little on this third base side of the shortstop where we are in running. All right. So we're going to be hitting third base very soon, but I got the home plate. I see it. I'm going to get there, but I'm going to flail. I'm going to stumble. I'm going to do a somersault, whatever
Right.
I got to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to get
Yeah.
there. And I think that's what you're doing too.
I'm trying to.
So
Yeah.
anyway, for those of you watching, age really is just a number. And I've seen a lot of old young people, and I've seen a lot of young old people. And I want to believe that young has always been a part of the approach.
And being with youth helps. I'll tell you, the couple of years I've spent now teaching kids to write poetry.
Yeah,
God, I like being with the kids.
infectious.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, my trip with Sammy to Oklahoma City, I mean, we we walked a lot
Yeah.
in downtown and I paid for it later because of the
Right.
hips, but it was so much fun to be with Sammy and the youth and all of that. So
We better go blow through your next two
there
silly
you have it. All
columns.
right, so this is the important stuff. Forget all the other life, matters. This is what's important. And Sammy's going to play a part in this today. So we are going to rank. Oh, did I bring? Yeah, we're going to rank the top 10 quarterbacks heading into 2025. We're going to rank the top 10 who we think are the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. So
And
we'll
when I
start.
got that topic, I said, "Are you talking about the quarterback rating? Are you
No,
talking
I'm
about
just who
team
you
success
think.
or fantasy points?"
I'm nothing. I'm just thinking, who do you think are the 10 best quarterbacks in the league going into 2025? And we're going to start with number 10.
I was about to say we got to go one at a
Yeah.
time.
All
Start at
right.
10.
So
Wait, do y'all have any honorable mentions or no?
I do. Okay. So I got 3 honorable mentions. Anybody else?
I have one honorable
Who?
mention. CJ Stroud.
Oh, that's good, Sammy. Do you have any honorable mentions, Jeff?
No, I've got one.
I've got 3 3 honorable mentions. Jalen Hurts,
Oh,
Dak, and Brock Purdy.
I should have put Dak on there.
All right. So number 10, Sammy.
Matthew Stafford.
All right. Number 10.
Cameron Ward, from Texas.
Oh,
Okay.
for Tennessee Titans.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I got Baker Mayfield at number 10.
Okay.
All right, number 9, Sammy.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Number 9, Jeffrey.
Kyler Murray.
I got Bo Nix
At 9,
at 9. Number 8, Sam.
Jared Goff.
There you go. Number 8, Jeffrey.
Brock Purdy.
Oh,
Hey,
good. I
there
got
you go.
Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Number 7, Sam.
Jalen Hurts. The
Jalen
fact that
Hurts.
he is in your honorable mention is weird.
Okay, you got Jalen Hurts. Who do you have at 7?
I got Baker Mayfield.
Nice.
I like that.
I got Jared Goff.
Okay.
Number 6, Sammy.
Baker Mayfield right there.
Wow, Sammy's got him up the ladder a little. What about
Mhm.
you at 6?
Give me Jalen Hurts.
There you
Jalen
go.
Hurts. All right.
Super Bowl champ.
I've got Justin Herbert at 6. Number 5, Sammy.
Big man, Jaden Daniels. The Rook.
All right. Number 5, Jeffrey.
Joe Burrow.
Oh, I got
Okay.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Number 4, Sammy.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Number 4, Jeffrey.
Jaden Daniels.
Did you already say Jaden Daniels?
No.
No. Okay. I got at number 4, talking about 4,
Yep, 4.
I got Jaden Daniels as well.
Okay.
Number 3, Sammy.
Wait, who did you have at 5?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Okay.
Patrick. Oh, shoot. Number 3, Sammy.
I got at 3 Lamar Jackson.
Jeffrey, 3.
Lamar Jackson.
I got Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Number 2, Sammy.
Pat Mahomes.
Jeffrey.
Pat Mahomes.
Joe Burrow.
Okay.
And then number 1 quarterback in the NFL going into 2025 is Sammy.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Did you say Pat's name?
Yeah, number 3.
Number 3? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we did that in a weird way. I don't know how, if we do we have a way to get a weighted average in
we probably do.
I think I won. I don't know what.
Well, I don't know if there's a win because we
No,
don't
we
have
can
the
just call
results.
no, I don't mean a win out of us. How to turn that into
consensus,
a
yeah.
consensus. But we had Josh Allen. Everybody had Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. The
Yeah,
top
you know what?
3.
What might be fun? I may ask Kennedy. I may
Yeah.
give her all these if y'all want to send them to me, and I'll have her put them in AI and have her say, AI, combine all this and give us the consensus top 10
Yeah, it will.
and see what it does.
I mean, we could manually.
If
We
you
don't
just,
need any kind of picking AI to do.
well, I don't.
We know how to
it
average.
requires. I don't want to do that. I got better.
I don't want to do it. I'm just saying I don't need AI doing that for me.
All right, well, make sure I get your list because I do want to see how we ended up. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Equally important, maybe even more important, is we're going to rank the NCAA top 10 football teams going into 2025.
And how are we going to do that?
We are
Tell?
going. Huh?
How we doing that?
Well, you got to pick who you think is going to be number
I'm-
10.
I have an honorable mention.
Oh, I don't.
SMU.
Okay.
That's my honorable mention.
All right. Who you got at 10, Jeffrey? Oh, no.
I'll
You have,
start.
you don't
Yeah.
have an honorable mention. Who do you have at 10, Sam?
At 10, I have the Clemson Tigers.
All right. Jeff,
Um,
you didn't number yours.
well, I did 7, 8, 9, 10. Army.
At number 10. Oh, look at Jeff coming out of left field. I've got at number 10, SMU.
Okay.
Number 9, Sam.
Tennessee.
Jeffrey,
SMU.
Texas A&M for me.
Okay.
Number 8, Sammy.
LSU.
Yeesh. Jeffrey, 8.
Alabama.
That's a
Have you
good.
lost
That's a
your
good
dang
pick.
mind? We will have a new host come Thursday. I've got Clemson at number 8.
Let me just tell you one thing.
You ain't gonna tell me anything
Let
truthfully,
me just tell you one thing.
factually.
I got them higher than the AP does.
Well, AP has lost its mind. All right, I got Clemson at number 8. Number 7, Sammy.
Number 7, I have the Georgia Bulldogs.
Jeffrey.
I've got the tennis. I screwed this thing up. Skip me and I'll
All
pick
right,
it
I
up
got
at 6.
Penn State at number 7, Sam.
You got Penn State at
Yeah.
7.
At 7. All right, number 6, Sammy.
So I just said Georgia. I got Bama at 6.
I got the Ohio State University.
Dad,
All
we
right.
didn't make the playoffs last year.
So
This is going into the season.
okay. Just remember, we're gonna pull up the show come
It's all new.
November.
You know what? It's all new players,
right.
and they all got new girlfriends.
What number were
okay?
we on?
I just said 6. I just
All right,
got
I got
Bama.
Oregon at 6. Did I already
And-
say that? Yeah. Who'd you have, Jeff? At
Ohio.
6?
The Ohio State University.
All right, number 5, Sammy.
5, I got Penn State.
I got the Nittany Lions
I
also.
got Georgia. Number
Okay.
4, Sammy.
Notre Dame.
Jeffrey.
Texas.
Ohio State. Number 3,
Oregon.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Number 2,
The Ohio State University.
The Bulldogs.
the Crimson Tide.
At 2?
Yeah, read it and weep. And then number one team going into this season that starts in about less than 2 months.
Got a
Who?
friend named Arch, last name Manning, Texas Longhorns.
Jeffrey.
Quack, quack, quack,
The
quack.
Oregon
The
Ducks,
Ducks.
really?
They got a new QB coming out. I don't know who he is, but
I got Texas
Texas.
and Arch Manning.
Those are some
Yep.
good lists.
All right,
I
there
like
we
the
go.
Army. I like the
So we're
Army.
going to hang on to these and review them as we get. Well, you know what we can do is every week in the season we'll just go back in and say, okay, let's update this. All right, there you have it. Now we've got rhyme time. What do you got, Jeffrey?
What do I got, Cam?
Rhyme time. You got Crybabies, don't you?
I amended that to you. Remember that?
Crybabies, page 41.
No, I gave you a new one.
Oh, I didn't get that.
A new one is called
Float like a
Float
butterfly.
Like a Butterfly, page 141. And here we go. It was written last July. Float like a butterfly. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I missed out on Nam, just like Ali. Off to St. Mary's, I got a degree, 4 short years, and a minor in history. Had a college draft exemption. I guess it was white man's luck. Then off to the real world to chase the mighty
Puck.
buck. I'm getting some perspective of my life of privilege. Beats killing off Hong in some village in Nam. I admire those who did. The draft board called their number. It's a lot to ask of a 19-year-old kid. My man Clay chirped like a song. I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. I've had some mighty darn fine choices, chances, while others got no glances. I guess your upbringing can affect your dances. Yet it's not just how you're raised that affects your every phrase. Don't let your parents be your crutch for acting like a schmuck. My buddy Elmer doth decree, I'm glad to be me. He understands like many, he creates his destiny. Christopher Columbus died in 1506 after finding Indians in the sticks. Now it's 2020, and if he's ruined your day, your toot is kind of rough. Move on is all I can say. Learn from our history, not turn it into a mystery. Of course, always remember, you get to vote in November.
Very good. Very good.
Eh,
Yeah, I
You're,
like that.
you're, my kids in grade school anticipate my rhymes better
Yeah,
than you
well,
do.
if I'm not if I'm not
Yeah, I know.
planning on it, you
It's a
make
lot.
my mind it
It's a
makes my
lot.
mind go.
It's a
Yeah.
lot to ask.
Anyway, very good. All right, this day in history. How many we got today?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I went 7-3 thanks to having a couple of bonuses.
Nice.
Uh,
All
rough
right.
coming out the start. The Rosetta Stone, a key to deciphering ancient Egyptian scripts, was found at Fort Julian in the Nile Delta during the Napoleonic campaign in Egypt.
I don't even know what you just said. 1864.
1690.
1799.
Ah, we didn't get the right
Missed it by that much.
I had to do a little research on this because I don't really remember what the Spanish Inquisition was all about. The Spanish Inquisition was abolished more than 350 years after its creation.
Hmm. 1888.
1899.
1834. It was really
Ah,
about King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella kind of uniting their families, and actually it was pretty nasty in terms of it was kind of an early segregation against Jewish people and trying to get them out of their world in Spain.
Where in in
In
Spain? Yeah,
Spain, the
yeah.
Spanish Inquisition.
Interesting. Yeah.
what was that date?
That was 1834.
Okay.
Georgia became the last Confederate state to be readmitted to the Union. I didn't remember that they didn't all come marching back in when that.
After the Civil War.
I guess wasn't so much just wanting; it was being readmitted.
Yeah. Then-
Sounds like the council vote.
yeah. Right.
You know?
1871.
Oh, 1894.
1870. Sorry,
You got
I
it. You
lost
got it.
myself there.
Thought he was
Almost
gonna
got it
leave us
on
on
the
a cliffhanger.
nose.
The Boeing Company, originally known as the Pacific Aero Products Company, was founded in blank for a bonus. Big aeronautic city in this country still is
Yeah.
big aeronautic city, and Boeing is still headquartered there
In the U.S.?
in the U.S.
Yeah. So we're talking about Seattle,
That is the bonus.
Oh,
and I'm gonna say 1951.
I'm gonna go 1956.
I went 1916. You got to
And what was the
remember.
answer? 1916.
I'm sorry, I went 1909. 1916 was the
Oh,
answer.
jeez, man.
You
Miss-
know, I mean, there were Kitty Hawk was in the
Yeah.
early part, and there were
Yeah.
there were planes in World War One.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Boeing got onto that.
Yeah. They did.
MSNBC, a 24-hour all news network, made its debut on cable and the internet simultaneously.
Oh man, I'm gonna go. Trying to think.
67.
No,
1967.
no. 2001.
96.
Oh, I goes in within
Well,
reach.
jeez, man.
That's when Fox started too. All right, so I'm 2 and 3.
Fashion
I got none.
designer Gianni Versailles was shot outside his Miami Beach home. Suspected gunman Andrew Philip Cunanan, 27, was found dead 8 days later. A suicide.
I remember that.
Investigators
2007.
believe Cunanan killed 4 other people before Versailles in a cross-country
Are you
rampage.
I think it's Versace.
Versace.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was struggling there.
1997.
The bonus is in effect.
Booyah.
We went up 1 year.
You know, I got to tell you something. I think you'll like this. I used to go down to Miami Beach. Vendors
Yeah.
you would take you on a
Yeah.
been to a lot of places because of vendors
Yeah.
rolling out the money. So one year, a vendor that we had wanted to take us to South Beach for a week, and I've been to South Beach many, many times. I actually would love to take Sonia there and just have some fun. It's really a cool place. And Versace, his his mansion is literally in a row of very expensive homes right on the beach in South Beach.
Okay.
And this was after he was murdered. And you go to these places and you want to, like Sammy and I did with the Oklahoma City, we wanted to stand where the truck blew up and all that other stuff. Well, I knew exactly where this guy shot Versace on his stairs leading up to or away from his mansion. It was incredible. I mean, stores are all right around there. It was just an amazing thing that happened.
But by the way, I have to apologize to my wife who gave me this quiz earlier today and pronounced it correctly.
She did.
Of course, she
Versace.
pronounced it correctly, and how I couldn't hold up
Versace.
hold up that name, and a name that I do know
Yeah, he's
for
a
4 hours. It's
fashion guy. Yeah,
He has cologne, doesn't he? Versace cologne.
there's that. He's got all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Gianni Versace.
Yep.
Here we close with John Walker Lind, Lindh, an American who
Yeah,
fought
spy.
alongside the Taliban in
Oh, yeah.
Afghanistan, pleaded guilty in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia, to felonies in a deal sparing him life. By the way, we have one more after this.
Okay. I'm gonna say
2014.
2016.
202.
Ooh, missed that.
Yeah.
I'm tied. I need to win this one.
Twitter, now known as X, was launched to the public.
Twitter.
Twitter, now known as X.
2004.
2014.
6.
Oh,
I
4
missed
gets
it.
you there, then get you the bonus.
that's my only one I got right.
I lost it.
Rough day for the kid.
4
That's
and
okay.
5.
I
Yeah,
still
that was
remember
tough.
you went 11-1 recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So there you have it. That's great and good news. We thank you for being here. We'll be back on Thursday at our regular time, which is at noon. We also want to remind you that you can find all of our content, both these shows every week and our uh, Jeff's poem content and my columns are there. You get 2 a week of basically everything. You get an email on Monday morning, email on Friday morning with a link to all of our stuff. So we'd ask you to consider going to substack.com, search Grit and Good News, and you will pay $5 a month to get all of this that we do, and we enjoy doing it and hope you'll like it.
And I think it's also the easiest way to get onto our show because we always have the latest show
Yeah,
on it.
exactly.
So our Monday will have last Friday's show, and our Friday will have our Thursday show.
Yes.
And it's quick and easy to get to. And it's a lot of money.
Yep.
It's a lot of money.
$5. So please join us there. All right. Thank you for being with us.
Have a great day and put a smile on somebody's face today.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
Very, very good.
Yeah, I got to get our topic.